An Aspergian emergency announcement regarding the status of leadership of the movement's central edifice. Aspergianism has seen itself under attack by the forces of the sycophants of the crypto-transsexual spinster Null's regime over at Kiwi Farms, with the use of doppel accounts and edited statements of posts by the leadership, with their own editing privileges disabled per privileges classification, in the earnest attempts of ours to beseech the cordial personnel diplomatic liaison with Introman, who has been at the epicenter of brewing up confrontation with the intention to see the movement's destruction under the pretext of Fabio-Malthusian argumentation, namely, that they are incompetent and idiotic, and that this has led them to voluntarily renege on integration with the world, when this itself negroidally misses the cause and effect relationship's correct order, putting the cart before the horse. In actuality, the world had conspired back then, as Introman does now, to use emotionally gaslighting intimidation tactics, abusing the superior effective empathy of the Aspergian, as established in our unique style of science, slandered solipsist by Introman's academic and psychiatric imperialist, empirical pseudo-intellectualism bodies and organs. Empiricist pseudo-intellectualism's bellicosely antagonistic and deliberately traumatic forces are now being invoked by Introman with his intention to elicit the cooperation of psychiatric organs in the bureaucratic monolith of benign Britain's dilapidating healthcare system, which is fast becoming a mental health worker bureaucratic elite, given funding increases under the pretense of an increase in patient per head spreading. That is, in fact, true to neoconservative Fabianism, merely being siphoned by corrupt, sexually lascivious, and emotionally abusive rubes, attracted by the career's relative ease of demand in terms of genuine work, to be expected of the inferior in racial standard and suavely pigmented Celtic-negroids who man the subordinate positions of such a proverbial ship, and the Jewish heads who command them. Such are the same individuals who, despite Introman's proclamations of a wish to assist, buoy the ascension of faux transsexual sociopaths acting out on the most usuriously ulterior fetishisms to procure matriarchal manumits in an age of the feminist rainbow dragon, proving Introman's desire to see the dragon unleash, merely to lord over its predominancy in the age of matriarchal socialism, which is Introman's genuine political stance in line with the in-reality trollishness that is the now discredited masculinosphere. Emmanuel Goldstein-like in its deceptive treachery, as in the Esoteric Society in the novel 1984's eponymous work of oligarchical collectivism, now made a reality by Introman's communitarianism and appeals to the fictional international Jewish economic construct of fungibility, merely a pretext for the degradation of all nations to a third world standard of provision, so as to provide phenotypical pressure for the downbreeding of first world Aryan and Mongoloid races that'll have an impact on the genotypical in coming generations, pure to the intention and observed by William Pierce when remarking on globalist economic homogenization to be attained through miscegenation, a probable fetish of Introman's. Introman's mulatto-transsexualism chasing's betrayal of his proclaimed beliefs aside, he takes implicit pleasure in seeing the degeneration of an already highly traumatized individual by the reported quote-unquote mental health services in question, in the same way as it has been for their constituent demographic and hence the demand for Aspergianism's ideological consolidation, which Introman wishes to see burn asunder. A negroidal wish to see the degrading of mankind's evolutionary development to that of the Khoisan is what inevitably precipitates from the alternative, probably another one of Introman's lusted over under-racial sexual intrigue, He suffers from mania of the urbane, race-mixed crowd, with whom he more often associates with than genuine Aryans as a consequence of his inferior demographic in inner-city New Jersey, considering the slickness of the suave to be more laudable than to be more laudable to the superior substance of the Svaza sun-kissed, and will act as concubine and courtesan in cleaning up the rectal contents of their back passages, whilst kneeling prostrately on his feet, tongue open wide to receive the fecal treats of their equally fecal in pigmentation form. Negroids at the Kiwi farms, aggrandized by their empirical pseudo-inculcatory non-education, unintelligently assented to by themselves, have been all too placidly accepting of intraman's capitalization over their easily malleable and gullibly influenced perceptions and docile, regurgitative acceptance of psychiatrically doctrinarian dogmatism rooted in pseudo-scientific, statistically extrapolative pontification, and all the trappings of a hierarchical stratification apparatus, with transsexual neomatriarchs constituting the top rung of the psychiatric ascension ladder, all too well endorsed secretively by Introman, presiding wickedly mocking and despisingly contemptuous lording over the rest of the victims of the medical community's mandate as the mentally ill master race, quote-unquote. Introman's true intentions in the whipping of his Kiwi farm's matriarchal attack dogs lie in the discrediting of the Aspergian's more genuine expression of the same, referring to strawman propaganda cases such as R/K miscegenation-born defects such as Christian Wesson Chandler, and congenital birth defect cases like Robert Wayne Stiles, as proof that only the Negro typical may ascend a neo-matriarchal nouveau master sex.